Morning students, hope you all are staying safe at home. Today we will be starting a new chapter of geography, chapter 4, the atmosphere. As the earth it is enveloped, it is surrounded by a thin layer of air which is known as atmosphere. It is held onto the surface of earth by planet's gravitational force. Now let us learn about how the atmosphere plays an important role in our life or survival of our life on earth. So it contains essential gases such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, which is required to sustain life. It also protects us from harmful UV rays, ultraviolet rays of the sun. It helps us to maintain the ideal temperature, the normal temperature, which is required to live on earth, as we cannot live on the places where it is very hot, or we can say where it is very cold. So weather phenomena such as rain, wind, storms, clouds and rainbows, these all occur in the atmosphere. Now let us learn about the composition of the atmosphere. As it is a mixture of various gases, nitrogen and oxygen, it makes a great part of atmosphere. The other gases which are being founded here as carbon dioxide, helium, ozone, argon, hydrogen. Beside all these gases, as atmosphere, it is responsible for water vapor and dust particles, which is also important for us. So let us learn about some important gases. The first one is nitrogen, which is essential for the survival of plants, and it consists of 78% of the atmosphere. Plants cannot absorb this gas directly, and therefore they need the bacteria which converts this atmospheric nitrogen into some consumable compounds absorbed from the soil by plants. Now the next one is oxygen. It constitutes about 21% of the air. Humans, plants, animals, everyone need oxygen to live, which helps us to break down our food and convert it into energy. Animals and plants, they breathe in oxygen in order to survive. So the balance of oxygen in the air is maintained by green plants, which takes carbon dioxide and gives out oxygen during photosynthesis. The next is carbon dioxide, which is just about 0.04% of the atmosphere, as it is one of the most important gases. It is mainly needed by plants to perform photosynthesis, as we are extremely cutting down trees and burning fossil fuels, which increases the amount of carbon dioxide in air, which has which has increased the level of greenhouse effect and global warming in our environment. Now what is greenhouse effect and global warming? A greenhouse is a building which is made up of glass, which traps the heat inside in order to provide a warm environment to the plants to grow more, to grow nicely. It acts as a greenhouse, and the energy from the sun which reaches the earth as solar radiation, while these solar radiation, some of them are reflected to space by the earth and the atmosphere, some it absorbs. Okay, some of the radiations are being absorbed by earth's surface, and the energy which is being absorbed by the radiate earth, it is radiated back into the atmosphere as infrared radiation. So greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide and methane, which has been present in the atmosphere, it traps these part of energy, and because of this the earth's surface gets more warm, which is somewhere essential for our living. Here global warming, because of all these human activities like burning of fossil fuels, like deforestation, and because of increasing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, it has caused the atmosphere to trap more and more heat, which leads to an increase in the average global temperature, in the average temperature of the earth, and this phenomena is known as global warming. So it is having adverse effects like climatic changes, melting of ice caps, glaciers, rising in sea levels, and because of this, ecosystem is also getting disturbed. So now let us move on to the structure of atmosphere. As based on its composition and temperature, atmosphere is divided into different layers: the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere. With it comes the exosphere. So let us now learn about the exosphere. It is the uppermost layer of atmosphere which merges with the outer space. There are some light gases like helium and hydrogen. The next is thermosphere. This layer, it extends from mesosphere till exosphere. So when we study about these parts of a layer which gets extremely heated, the temperature in this layer, it falls sharply with altitude, and because of this air, because it is very thin, this is known as ionosphere. The thermosphere contains a layer of ionosphere as well, which is important for radioactive communication and to reflect radio waves which are being transmitted from the earth to specific destination. The next is mesosphere. This layer extends to, from the outer limit of stratosphere and till thermosphere it reaches out. Here there are meteorites which fall towards the earth, which burns up in this layer, which is mesosphere. The next is stratosphere. As stratosphere, this layer lies right above the troposphere and below mesosphere. It is free of clouds and other weather phenomena, which makes it ideal for the flying of aeroplanes, and it also contains a protective layer, that is ozone, which is a gas which absorbs the harmful radiation of sun. And here the temperature starts rising when we reach to the increase in heights. Troposphere is the layer which is directly over the surface of the earth, and the temperature in this layer decreases with every 1 centigrade we move. If we say if we move 165 meters, there is rise in 1 centigrade, and this is known as normal lapse of time. So pressure, it decreases with height, and it contains all the essential gases which is essential for our living. The next topic is weather and climate, as it is a state of atmosphere which changes very fast, or we can say it changes every day within a very short period of time. And on the other side, we can say climate. It is the average atmospheric condition of an area over a longer period of time. Okay, so whether we can say yesterday it was sunny, today it is rainy, okay, tomorrow it will be windy. The climate doesn't changes every day. Okay, it is the average atmospheric condition. Like we can say Jammu and Kashmir, it is cold because from many of the years we have been noted down that it remains cold throughout the year. We can say Thar desert, it is very hot. So many of the years we have seen that it remains very hot there. So this is the climatic condition. It is the average atmospheric conditions which has been noted over a long period of time. Now there are factors which influence climate. The first is atmospheric temperature. If atmospheric temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of the air around us. Here, as the temperature varies during the course of a day, it is known as diurnal range of temperature. When this give rise to seasons, it is known as seasonal variation in temperature. Now let us read about some factors. Latitude is the first one, as the amount of insolation, it decreases from equator towards the poles, and around the equator the sun rays, they hit directly straight to the earth, and they are more focused on a smaller area, which leads to greater heating at smaller places. So at higher altitudes the rays hit at an angle, or we can say on a slanting way, and because of that it spreads out over large area which is less intensive. So the places closer to equator, they are more we can say likely to be more hot as compared to the places which are far away from equator. The next is altitude. As atmospheric temperature, it decreases with an increase in altitude. As the height increases, the temperature decreases, and this is because the air, it gets thinner, and so the places which are at a height, or which we can say are at a mountain places, they are more colder than the places that are near the plains. The next is distance from the sea. As the sea, it has moderating effect on the temperature of places which lie near the coast, and because of that land heats up faster and cools faster. So during the day, water has a cooling effect on land, and thus the coastal regions, the temperature remains moderate, whereas the regions away from the sea, regions which are far away from the sea, they vary diurnally as well as seasonally. Let us move on to air pressure and winds. The atmosphere, it is made up of matter-like gases, water vapor and dust particles, and has weight. So the pressure which has been exerted by weight of the air on the surface of earth is known as air pressure. Because of this air pressure which is at the highest at the sea level, which decreases with increase in altitude, as I just told you, this creates a region of low pressure and high pressure area. So the low pressure is associated with cloudy skies and humid weather. The places where the temperature is low, the air is cold and heavy there, which settles down and creates in a high pressure area of high pressure. Then the air flows from areas of high pressure to low pressure, and this movement, okay, so this movement of air from the high pressure area to low pressure area is called wind. Now, depending on the nature of winds are classified as permanent wind and periodic winds with local winds. So let us read about winds. Permanent winds are the winds which are related to permanent pressure belt, as these winds, they move from hot air from the equator towards the poles, and they play a vital role in maintaining global temperatures. So they are also known as planetary or prevailing winds. These are of three types: trade winds, westerlies and polar easterlies. Trade winds are the winds which blows from subtropical high pressure belt towards equatorial low pressure belts. These are known as northeast trade winds, and in the south these are known as southeast trade winds. The next is westerlies. When these blow from subtropical high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belt in the hemispheres, these are known as northwesterlies in southern hemisphere and southwesterlies in the northern hemisphere. Now the next one is polar easterlies. These permanent winds, they blow from polar high pressure belt to subpolar low pressure belts. In the north they are known as polar northeasterlies, and in the south they are known as polar southeasterlies. So now let us move on to periodic winds. These are also seasonal winds, like they blow in monsoons during the particular seasons with the change in direction. During the summer in India, there is southwest monsoon winds which blow from sea to land, which brings rainfall also with them. And in the winter season, they blows in the opposite direction. Means in the opposite direction they flow from land to sea. So they are known as northeast monsoon winds. Here there is sea breeze and land breeze also. When the land and sea, they are periodic winds. So during the day, land is more hotter than the sea water of the sea. There is a region of low pressure which is over the land, and high pressure over the sea. So this results in sea breeze, and just opposite the conditions are reversed, just the opposite. The sea is more warmer than land, and there over the land it creates a pressure of low pressure over the sea, and therefore the cool wind from land, it blows towards the sea, which results in land breeze. So now there are local winds, as these winds blow over a small area at a particular time of day. It is or the year we can say. So in particular region it is known as with different names, as we can say local wind which blows from western Indo-Gangetic plain during summer. These are strong, hot and dry and known as Lu. The next is moisture, as water from land and different water bodies, it evaporates and forms water vapor, which has been separated in the air, which has been dispersed in the air. And the amount of vapor or moisture in the atmosphere at a given point, it is known as humidity. So because humidity, it often rises, and it gives rise in temperature. There is two ways, the absolute humidity and relative humidity. Absolute humidity is the amount of water vapor which is present in unit volume of air. It is expressed as gram per cubic meter. Relative humidity is the ratio between amount of moisture which is present in the air and the amount of total water vapor which the air can hold. So it is expressed as percentage. The next is condensation, as it is the process by which water vapor is present in the air, which cools down and changes itself to water or ice. So this occurs when relative humidity is high. Here condensation can also lead to formation of fog, mist, frost and dew. The next is precipitation. When the water droplets in the clouds, it became very large and heavy, and because of that they start falling onto the earth under the force of gravity. It is known as precipitation. It normally comes down in the liquid form, which is rain, and it also comes in solid form as well, sometimes as snow, hail or sleet. Rainfall therefore can be classified in three types: conventional, relief and cyclonic rainfall. Conventional rainfall is a type of rainfall which is commonly the equator it falls down where humidity is generally high, and it gives rise to moist air which cools down and condenses to form cumulus clouds. Here relief rainfall is a type of rainfall which takes place near the relief features like mountains, plains or plateaus. Here when it hits the mountain, mainly it happens that when it hits the mountain, it rises, the cool air condenses and it brings heavy rainfall to only, we can say, one side of the mountain. The other side is normal, there is no rainfall. So one side is known as windward where the heavy rain is there, and the other side is leeward where there is no rainfall. So this is also, this area is of low rainfall is known as rain shadow, where the rain doesn't happens to come because the air, when it hits towards the peak of the mountain, the rain falls towards that point only, not the other side. The next is cyclonic rainfall. This type of rainfall occurs when the warm air is forced to rise by a body of cold air, and here it also comes in the form of cyclones when there are tropical storm cyclones, and because of this there is heavy rainfall with strong spiraling winds. There are winds like spirals which form cyclone, and because of that rainfall is also there with it. So students, with this we have reached to the end of the lesson. Read the same from your textbooks, and if you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Till then, keep learning and have a good day ahead.